What is up, guys? Welcome back. Welcome back to another live. It's good to be back. It's been a little while since our last live. Couple of days. What am I talking about? Couple of months. Let me just make sure we've got audio. Make sure everything's working. Sounds good. Hope you guys can hear me. Anyway, sounds like we got some audio. What's going on, Gavin? Mike, what's going on? Everyone in here. Don, how's it going? Welcome to the live. Excited to be doing this. I love doing these lives. You know, like, I probably started doing lives consistently last year. And they're so much fun. I really enjoy them. And, you know, I've been trying to keep things, keep things consistent with the lives. You know, my goal last year was one every month, and I hit that. This year, there's been some big kind of life things going on, and so I haven't quite hit one a month, but I'd like to get back to that. So I hope everyone's doing well. If you have any questions, you know, you want to jam anything, you want to learn anything, let me know in the chat. This is the best place to do it, and let's just have a good live. I got a lot of stuff I want to chat about. Got my list here, and let me add something. I just thought of something else I want to make sure I don't forget to talk about. Jonas, welcome, my man. Gavin, hey. How do I feel about the Broncos being 9-2? I feel fantastic. Thank you for paying attention, Gavin. I know I wear the Broncos shirt in a lot of videos. So yes, it's a good time to be a Broncos fan, surprisingly. You know, I am fairly surprised, but happy. Definitely happy. Sorry, I have a bug I need to kill. Like a little fly or something. It's a good time to be a Broncos fan. A bad time to be a lot of other teams. Chiefs fan. You know, I can't stand the Chiefs. Anyway, okay. Any news on your Propolis word project? In the works. Hopefully 2026. That would be the goal. I definitely have a lot more work I need to do on it. But I'm excited. I'm constantly refining it. I just really want to kind of make it the best that it can be. And so it needs more time. But it's going to be a big project. I haven't even fully decided on the delivery yet. Like, obviously, I think my bread and butter is making videos, and I think most people would probably enjoy that. But at the same time, I'm like, are people going to watch like a 10-hour video? Like, I don't know if it's going to be 10 hours. Probably won't be. But you know what I mean? Like, it kind of feels like an ebook or an actual book, I mean, would be the way to go. But then I got to deal with shipping and all this stuff, which just complicates things, which is possible, but I'm still deciding on the medium. I fell a bit in love with your one-handed top palm tutorial. Since 3-4 days, I'm excessively practicing it. So first off, thanks for that. No problem. Yeah, you know what? I was inspired to make that video from one of my private lesson clients, one of you guys that I've been doing private lessons with for maybe 3 years or so at this point, almost every week. Good friend of mine, David Murphy. He had never been able to do a one-handed top palm. You know, he's probably a 5-year hobbyist, but he's got some real chops. He's performing multiple times a week, just, you know, at the local restaurants for friends. So he's very talented. He's auditioning for the Magic Castle. We're working on his audition performance right now. We've been working on that every week. It's coming along really nicely. I think he's auditioning in December, but he couldn't do a one-handed top palm. He was a professional tennis player back in the day, and so he had. Sorry, David. I hope you don't mind me outing everything about you. But he had a wrist injury, and so it prevented him from using some of his fingers, and so he could never really one-hand top palm. And it's always been a big struggle, and I could never really learn it properly. So then I kind of dove into. Again, I try to approach all of my teachings from a slightly different angle, you know, try to kind of teach things in a bit of a different way and sort of really analyze things in a way that people can understand, like using either the physics of it or whatever it happens to be. And so I after teaching it to him, and he got it so quickly after years of trying and never being able to, I was like, you know what? somehow I haven't made a video on this. I think it's time. That inspired me to make that video, so glad it's helping some people out there as well. That is the goal. I have an idea in my brain to use the top palm and add it to a 3-phase routine in which I find the spectator's card. In this phase, I would like the spectator to shuffle his card to the top. So you're saying the magic is that you hand him the deck to shuffle, and when you check the top card, he magically, or happen to, coincidence, whatever, happen to shuffle his card to the top. Am I right on that? Let me know, and then I'll give you my thoughts. But yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. Like I said, any questions, drop them below. Normally I start these lives giving a little bit of insight into what the next few videos on the channel are, because as you guys know, if you've watched any of these lives, I let you know that I generally film a lot of the videos for the channel way up in advance. Generally like up to 2 weeks, up to 2 months in advance. I'll like bank a bunch of videos. And so we are actually at the end of the bank, which means I need to get filming this weekend and next weekend. So I have one video left that's ready to go, which will be coming out tomorrow at 11 a.m. and it is on an awesome little card trick, perfect pair card trick. So a little routine that I've done for a long time. It's a lot of fun. Great little routine. I've used this in my professional repertoire before, so it's a really fun, really great trick. So I'll be teaching that tomorrow. I need to edit that after this live. What else? So, you said yes. Okay, so the magical moment, having the card rise to the top, and you want to use the top palm as the method. I think ideally, with that kind of effect, the thing you want to try to pay attention to is not touching the deck, right? That would be the dream, the goal. But unless you're using a gimmick deck or like a 50, what is it called? I'm blanking on a one-way force deck. That's the word I'm looking for. Then, you're going to have to touch the deck for a moment. And I think a palm is probably the fastest way to do it, right? And so the key thing to make that sort of feel magical is to give the illusion that you never touch the cards. And you do that by instilling in them a false memory that you never really touched the cards, or when you did touch the cards, it was so insignificant that it didn't matter. So you need to think about why you're going to do that, right? So maybe, because if they're shuffling, right, there's no reason that they can't just turn over the top card. So maybe you have them do something that involves both of their hands for a moment, and then you need to logically now pick up the deck to hand it back to them or something. So, you could say, and I'm just going to freestyle something, but you could say, shuffle the deck. Once you're happy, take your time and set it down on the table, okay? Now, you have their card in palm, right? And now, it could be anything. You could say, okay, now I want you have to like hover your hands around the deck, or you have to hold your hands out like this for something, or maybe there's like a magic wand and they need to grab it, or you need to come up with something logically based on the premise. And I'd have to give it some thought to come up with what's the right answer. But something where they are now hands off the deck, and it gives you a logical justification to potentially, let's say this is the table, to reach over and say, here, put that on their hand, or whatever it happens to be. And now that moment feels very inconspicuous because it was all justified, because they're doing something else, right? Whatever it is. So maybe you say, set the deck down, hold one hand like this, with the other hand, grab my magic wand, and you're going to rub or wave the wand around your hand, and you're going to kind of, build up the magic dust, or what, I don't know, whatever you want to say. I haven't really thought it through, but you want to build up the magic. And now, once that's all ready, I'll set the deck there, and hopefully the magic will happen, right? So they're now doing this. You say, okay, keep going. You can't stop. You have to keep it going. Now, obviously, both of their hands are occupied, so you can reach down, pick up the deck, set it in their hand, and that moment would feel inconspicuous. Now, I'd have to think about what that right answer is. I mean, maybe the magic wand thing could work. It wouldn't work for me. It's not my style, but you know what I mean. Yes, I agree about the right answer. I'm planning to get a lesson for working on the details and feedback of the two hits. Okay, yeah, man, yeah, absolutely. Let's set that up for sure. Shoot me an email, or you can go on my website and book right from there. Let's definitely set up a lesson. I'd be happy to help you out with that. That sounds like a really unique challenge, a lot of fun. On that note, if you guys are interested in private lessons, I would love to help you guys out. Private lessons are like my favorite things to do, getting that one-on-one. It's really just the best way to help someone improve. Like I was talking about David, we've been working together for almost every week for like 3 years. And, it's just the progress he's made. It's been amazing how fast people can progress when they have one-on-one help. I've been real busy, with the lessons these days. A bunch of you guys in here, I've done lessons with Mike, I've done lessons with Jonas. Okay, stop spamming the chat, please, or I will have to put you on timeout. Can you please share iPhone password routine? Probably not, but I'll think about it. Just please stop spamming the chat. You have 2 more chances. If you spam 2 more times, I'm going to have to put you on timeout. There's 1 more. You got 1 chance left. Oh, there's 2. Okay, timeout for you. Put user in timeout. Let's go 5 minutes. Confirm. All right. Anyway, sorry about that, guys. So, the next thing, I was talking about private lessons. It's a really great opportunity, a really great chance, and it's just so much fun to help people. I've helped people develop their shows. I've helped people start their business. Start working on social media. Read rage. No, I'm chill, Mike. There's no rage here. I'm all chill. I've helped Mike with some cool stuff. Mike, we've done so much awesome stuff together. What did we do, Mike? We did. We've talked about like impromptu routines when he's riding the bus. We talked about magic without speaking, magic for like deaf people. We've done like really cool stuff. Jonas, we were working on his new release, his new project. That is really great. The Ultimate Propless Peak. And he has also another project that came out for Halloween, a propless Halloween costume guest. Pretty cool. So go check those out. But yeah, like whatever you want. I really try to tailor them and customize them to what you need. And anything goes, really. So if you'd like a private lesson, links are in the description. You can go straight to my website, book in there, or send me an email if you want to ask some more questions. Okay, so I don't really know what your username is, Drado2079, but definitely hit me up. Let's set up a lesson. Lance, what's going on, Lance? Tips on the Classic Force and thoughts on Sandsmine products being teased. New Sandsmine product. To be honest, I haven't seen the new Sandmines product at all. And tips on the Classic Force, private lessons are great, says Jonas. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. I don't really do the Classic Force, I just think it's kind of obsolete. The 2 things that kind of convinced me of that were me coming up with my handling of the spread force, which I think is just like a superior version because it's 100% surefire and it looks exactly like the Classic Force. And then there was that study that was done, I think, was it the Jerks who did it? But I can't remember. I think it was. And they tested different forces on regular people and had them rate them, which one's the most fooling or deceptive, which one they didn't realize was a force. And they rated the crosscut force as number 1, which is awesome. I'm not honestly that surprised. And the Classic Force was very low. It was like, I think around 40% of people didn't realize it was a force, and 60% knew. And I think the reason is, and it kind of points to, magicians, we think, oh, this feels very fair. But spectators, if you try this for yourself, right? You can do a little anecdotal experiment. Hand your family member, your friend, a deck of cards, someone who knows nothing about magic, and say, magicians, they can do this thing where they force a card. They force you to pick a specific card. How would you go about doing that? How do you think you would do it? And they'll do this, and they'll say, yeah, they probably would just try to, do this, push out a card, make you pick one, which is really exactly what the Classic Force is. So I think that's part of the reason. So my spread force, right, I'm just going to back up a bit here because I'm pretty punched in on the lens right now. But my spread force, it's basically a version, I've taught it on the channel twice, I think. But you know, this classic force, which is great, this spread force here, not sound like I said classic force, I meant the classic force, which is the classic version of the spread force where you say touch one and then you go like that. I never loved this moment, and I thought, wouldn't it be amazing if they could just touch it and you turn up like that? And that's what my variation allows. So if I'm going to force this two of spades, they can now touch one. This is a bit of an awkward angle. I could say this one right here. Here, look, that card, and I could just turn up, and it's the two of spades. And essentially, again, you can go check out the tutorial to learn in depth how to do this because there's a lot of things going on. But essentially, as I come up, I'm just pushing the card using the edge of the deck to square it up, and it looks really good. So 6 of hearts this time, touch one, and this one right here. Remember that card, 6 of hearts, boom. And I do that. That's the only force I really do at this point in my professional work. That's pretty much the only force I do. Legit, the only force I do. I don't do any other forces. Riffle force would be my second choice, but I almost never do it. So I don't really have a lot of classic tips, though one of my good buddies, the guy who, he's a magician from Toronto, and he is very talented as well. We've been going out filming a lot together. He's a machine with the classic force. And so I've been thinking of having him on the channel to teach it, just because I don't feel like I would do it justice. You know, just because I never do it. So I don't have a lot to say on it. But yeah, it's great. The classic force. So tips. I mean, just have outs. That would be my tips. Have outs. You know, if they don't touch the card, have something else you can go into, or have a justification as to, you know, you see them put their finger on the wrong card, and literally you can just close up the spread before they have a chance to take it out and say, hold on, let's try this instead. And then you say, you know what, actually, okay, let's try that again. And you could do it a second time or whatever, you know. You can look at the classic force approach of Jan Imhoff. He has a unique approach on it, explained in his seminar here in Germany. Okay, very nice. You can call me, I don't know if it's Tarek or Tadek, way easier. For sure, I will. But let me know, man. Private lesson. I have been performing your spread force recently, though. Yeah, it's the way to go, man. That's what I would recommend, to be honest. I've been loving your spread force. Yeah, I think it's just the best force you can do. I mean, you know, for like a worker force, like that you can just, you know, walk around and do anytime, anywhere. Where was the cut deeper force on that list? Is it popular? I don't remember. I think the cut deeper force was pretty high, actually. Like a lot of the forces that magicians would expect to be low versus high, it was like the complete opposite. So a lot of magicians would say, oh, the cut deeper force is not that good. I think it can be very good in the right situation. And I really love that idea that I shared in a couple of videos ago about combining it with the riffle force to do a 2-card force. Really, really like that. Just tuning in to say, what up, buddy? Love from Pakistan. What's up, my man? How are you doing? I would love to see that ranking, to be honest. There, my math brain kicks in. Okay, I'll try to find it a little bit later in the live. Let me write that down. Jerks study. And I can try to pull it up in a minute. Riffle force is too complicated for me. I often stick to the slip force. Slip force is another fantastic one. I wonder what you find complicated about the riffle force. I don't feel like it's that complicated, but I would be curious to know. Like, of course, everything is different for different people, so I'm just curious which part you find complicated about it. Also, a tip I got from a good German magician is practice the classic force in situations where you actually don't need it, and the spectator can freely choose a card. Absolutely, yeah, that's a great tip. I've heard that lots. You know, I think the riffle force is pretty straightforward, I think, right? Because you have your pinky break, and it's just like call stop. Then I do the little subtlety where I kind of go in with the finger, and then as it comes out, the thumb just comes to the back corner, and I lift up on that spot, so it looks like this, right here, or here, 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 anywhere you want, right there. Okay, great. Boom, and that's a force. There was some irony about complicated riffle force. There's some irony about complicated riffle force. Yeah, you know, I don't really think anything's more complicated. Like, obviously there are certain things, but like when people say something's hard or not, it depends on your hands. It depends on you, how you work, you know, how things come together. So it's different for everyone, right? Totally delusional, but will there ever be a Reed Fairy JS Magic collab? Maybe you're not so delusional. JS is a good buddy, and hopefully, I will leave it at that. Hopefully, there will be something fun coming. That would be a lot of fun, though. We're the only ones doing street magic here on YouTube anymore. And yeah, I've done a bunch of new filming, new street magic, and the first one just came out. 2 weeks ago, the first video from that new shoot. So yeah, you'll have to go check that one out. Let me see. There we go. Yeah, so this video right here. Where is it? Right here. I fooled a cop with magic. Big mistake. Love the click. Well, the title's not really clickbait because I did fool him. Was it a big mistake? Did I get arrested? You'll have to watch the video to find out. So that's from my newest shoot. So I have like 7 or 8 videos from this shoot that will be coming out. While we're here, guys, the membership has been awesome lately. Really popping off, and there's so much stuff on here. So a couple of new things with the channel. So you have your members only video, the members playlists. And what was it? Oh yeah, so YouTube has added a courses tab. So it used to be just playlists, right? So I have all these different playlists of my different series and videos and types of tutorials. Now they've added courses. And so I have like 2 or 3 courses on the channel. I think these 2 are really the ones that are best served as a course. So this is for members. This is the Practical Mental Magic course. And so you can come in here, gives a little description of the course, and at least on mobile, I don't know where it is on desktop, but it has a little progress bar with like how far along you are in the course. Once you finish it, you get a little like badge. So this is the Practical Mental Magic course. There is, what are we at? We're at episode 47. So if you don't know, I'm breaking down every single effect on video from Practical Mental Magic, one of the fundamental greatest books in mentalism. And so that is getting broken down, and I'm revamping it. Everything I teach is like way different than the original for the most part, because a lot of the stuff in there is not practical, but I'm using it as inspiration. Like, for example, the most recent video, which came out last week, David P. Abbott's book test. If you know anything about that book test, the original, it was literally like you would write down say the 7th sentence from every single page in your book, and you make a crib. So we recommend you use like a small children's book that was like maybe 50 pages or something. But even then, you're writing like 50 sentences, and you have it on a little crib card, and then you can use some equivocate to force the book, and then you would basically use a playing card to force the line. And then you could then use your crib to tell them the line. It's like, obviously if you went through all that, that could be a very fooling trick, but it's just very impractical, and I don't think a lot of people would do that. So I've actually modernized it. I built a little mini app shortcut. A lot of the stuff I don't use tech, but this one I did. I built a little app shortcut that you can use on any book, any PDF of any book, and it will, you can secretly use it in the background. You can hand someone the real book, and in the background, the shortcut will go into the PDF. You just quickly enter the page number and the line. So now it can be any line, any page. You have them name a line number, so like line number 7, page 250, and the phone will just you quickly key it in, and the shortcut will extract that sentence. I can show you guys right now. So let me turn off the Safari view quickly. It's pretty sick, and I built this in like 10 minutes just for the members. Okay, so where is it? Okay, so if I go to, so there's that yellow app right there, PMM book test. So I click it, and I get this little pop-up that says page.line. So if I want 250.8, so that's how I input it, page 250, line 8. And watch, when I hit done, it pops up a note that says prediction, and it has that line from the book. So in this case, it says room for the time being. Now he states that one person must be chosen, and so that it may be. So that's the 8th line, and it just pulls that up. So it's literally pick up your phone, boom, boom. Now you can show them that you predicted that line. So I think this works the best as like a memory demonstration. Hey, look, I've memorized this whole book. Go pick any page, any line. All I'm going to write down. They tell you, you pretend to write down what it is. You pull up, you have this written out as a prediction. You know, but you can use it for mind reading. So I built that tool. It's available for members. You can download it. You can use it with any PDF. It's a fun little thing. So that's the kind of stuff that I do on the membership. So if you're interested, you know, so that would be the mentalist tier. And I want to go back to Safari because I want to talk to you about the free course too. So let me. So so that is the mentalist tier. And so on the mentalist tier, you basically get access to, I do like early releases of my regular videos, but then you also get access to this full course. So we're up to almost 50 videos now, but there will be like 200 something at some point. And then I took Mentalism 101, which is one of my most popular series on the channel. Every video with like thousands of views, which is awesome. And this is kind of my intro mentalism course. So I actually turned this into an official course now. So you can, you know, go through sequentially, watch this as a course. I thought about making other things courses, but I think this is the best one. And I do want to start another free course at some point. But this is pretty cool. So you have these courses now where they have lessons and they'll give you progress and you get a little badge when you complete it. But also on the membership. So there's also the wizard tier, which is my highest tier, my full membership where you unlock all the channel videos. So on the wizard tier, you get all of my master classes and lectures. So you get access to all of them. The brand new One Ahead masterclass, it's over 3 hours. You get my mental minimalism live lecture that was filmed at for the IBM Ring 12 in Buffalo when I was lecturing there. My propless masterclass, which is probably my most popular. So you get all of that and all of the new content. I think Mike is a member of that tier. So Mike, if you want to comment on any of the master classes, I know you've been enjoying them. And then also you get the member requested videos, so you can request videos. So someone requested I make a propless zodiac guess, another person a propless name guess. For some reason it's always propless stuff, but I created it. So if you ever want me to talk on a subject, help you with something, you know, you can request a video and I'll do my best to get that out. So you get access to all that. If you ever, you know, want lifetime access to any of these projects, because the membership, it's obviously a monthly thing, but all of my projects are available on my website as well. Which you can buy lifetime access. So if you just want to do a one-time purchase, head over to my website, shop, and you can do a one-time purchase of any of these projects. Some of them are actually on sale right now. One Ahead Masterclass on sale, Propless Masterclass is on sale. But yeah, these prices are Canadian dollars, by the way, so our dollar's not the best. So if you're in the States, it's quite a bit cheaper. But yeah, that was that. I just wanted to touch on the new courses and the membership. Okay, let's go back to the chat here. Can you please teach Spread Force in short right now? Just a quick go through on your way to do it. Yes, I'll do that when I jump down to the card table for sure. Yeah, I mean, my whole Street Magic journey has just been watching you two guys. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, JS is a legend, and I'd love for us to do a Street Magic collab. So definitely hoping we can get that done, because that would be sick. Of course, everyone is different. Also depends on the energy that you put into something. I never practiced top change after learning second deal. Yes, I can do it, but no need for it now. For sure. Yep. Yeah. I think there's no need to, you know, learn a lot of moves. Same me in the classic force. Though I might push back a little bit on no need for a top change, because the advantage, right? Yes, you don't need it, but the advantage is the card can seemingly be in your hand the entire time and you can change it. Whereas with a second deal, you'd have to put it down for a moment and then take it back off. I'm sure you could motivate that really nicely, but I think there are some tricks where the top change probably works better. And I definitely use both. Do you have a personal deck of cards coming out? Why are you guys spoiling all my surprises today? You're asking all these good questions. Early stages, Mike. Yes, I would really love to have a branded deck of cards. I think I want to do 2, at least, that I have ideas for. I don't want to get into the playing card thing. I want to do like an OG collection. So I have my OG collection merch, which is just the very simple merch with my OG logo. You know, I have the hats, the hoodies on my website, and the Show Me a Trick tee. If you want the best piece of everyday carry, legit everyday carry, I have my Show Me a Trick tee, which I relaunched a couple of months ago, which is a full 3-phase magic trick built into a t-shirt. You just throw on the t-shirt and there's a trick hidden in the fabric of the shirt that you can perform. I have a bunch of performances coming out, and I put some out. You can go check out the trailer. People have been loving it, actually. I'm kind of surprised with how good the reviews have been for the Show Me a Trick tee. I want to send it to a couple of reviewers too, just for fun, because I think it's like a really unique idea. But yeah, you can check that out on my website, the Show Me a Trick tee. But anyway, I'd like to do a deck of cards that's like a simple, my logo, just like the OG deck, pretty standard deck, nothing special, just the OG, or RF Sleights deck kind of thing. Where it's just like a branded thing, something cool that I could use for gigs and whatnot, and people who want to support me and want an RF Sleights branded deck could check out. The other deck I want to do is a lot more special. I want to do a deck that is kind of like my perfect deck that has all the features that I think are useful and valuable, and a bunch of hidden things, and I'm going to try to like push the boundaries and try to think of some new creative ideas to kind of put into the deck and that sort of thing. So I kind of want to do two, but we'll see how that goes. I need to figure out, shipping and all that, because it's a physical product. My merch is easy. My Show Me a Trick tee is easy. I can have that handled by a third party for relatively inexpensive. But the decks, I think I would want to do it myself. So do all the shipping and distribution myself, which obviously just takes a little bit more time, a little bit more complicated. So I got to figure all that out. But and I have to start ironing out the designs and everything. But do you go on Omi TV, etc. for just practicing? I don't know. Do you feel it's not worth the time? I used to love Omegle back when that was a thing. I did that a lot, mainly for content. Like I used to post Omegle magic style videos, particularly my behind the screens series, which was I would do these like super elaborate tricks. A lot of people haven't seen them because they're older, but I think they're the best videos on my channel. I would do these really elaborate tricks. Like I did, my favorite one was like any card, any dart. And so I would take a dart, and I would do this virtually. So I'd have someone on Omegle, and I'd set up this big illusion. So my favorite one, it was, they thought of a card, then I had one of my sister throw up the cards, and then I took a dart and I threw it at the dartboard, and I hit their card out of midair. Before the trick, they also named a number, and the dart has 20 numbers, the dartboard, so they named a number between 1 and 20. So not only did I hit their card out of midair and it stuck on the board, but I threw the dart on the exact number they called out to. It was pretty crazy. And the method for that is insanity. And the reason behind the screens is so cool is because I'd show you the performance, and then you get to watch it a second time with a real camera that was in the room. Well, this camera right here, that was in the room with us, but seeing it from the behind the screen angle. Because when you're performing for camera, they can only see this. But then you see what's going on in the whole room, and you see exactly how I did it. And I did like 4 episodes of this, probably like 3 tricks per episode. So there's a bunch of different illusions that are some of them are so insane what we did. I had a card appear inside an egg. I did like a horror style effect where there was like a haunted deck, and we burned torn and restored card. I did the bullet catch. So you dribble the cards, you reach in, you grab their card. I did that, but I did it life size. Yeah, that's the one Mike's talking about. Didn't you do a trick by throwing cards out the window? Yeah, so I went to the second story of my house, and I had a jumbo deck, and I had someone drop them, and then someone on Omegle named a card, and I ran over and I grabbed the card out of midair as it was falling from the second story window. And the method for that was just crazy. I'll give you a little sneak peek. So you can watch all these videos. They're on a playlist on the channel, behind the screens. And I do have a new version because I've been wanting to bring it back. They're just so hard to film. I don't live with my parents anymore like I did at the time when I made those videos, 3-4 years ago. Or actually I wasn't living with my parents, but I was in university, so I was living there for a few months out of the year when I was doing my work placements that I did through my university program. And so when I was home for those 4 months, I have my buddy who's part of my team who helps me work on it. My brother, my sister, so we would all kind of. I need help to do it, right? I need some hands. But yeah, the one out the window was so crazy because the method was we ran a piece of fishing line, so basically invisible thread, from the window all the way down to the ground, and it was taped off. And then when the person would name the card, there was my buddy holding the deck of cards at the window, so it seemed like it was in view the whole time, but really it was just the box, and it was an empty box. The real deck was in the back of the room with my brother. He would take the card that was named, puncture a hole in it with a pencil, feed the end of the fishing line through it. That was at the top on the second floor with them. Then he would sandwich that in the middle of the deck, but their fishing line's only running through the card they named. Then they would secretly load the deck back into the box, right? And then when it was time, I would just be talking to the person a little bit, and I would say, "Are you ready?" He'd say yes. He would pretend to take the cards out of the box. Well, he would take them out, and then I would just take that fishing line, which is connected to the second story to the ground, and I would put it in between my finger like this. I would just kind of put my hand like this on the fishing line, and then he'd drop them, and the cards would go everywhere, but that card would just kind of spin or fall down the fishing line and land right on my hand, right? So it was like these crazy methods, and you get to see exactly how I did it, and it's a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite series, and I actually have 2 new tricks filmed for it. One of them's insane. Both of them are pretty insane, actually. But I need a third one, so I'm hoping I'm gonna go home, visit them for the holidays. I'm hoping we could get another one. Blue Apple. Hey Reed, I've been waiting so much for this jam. Welcome, man. Another jam. And it's early. It's only 40 minutes in. So we got at least another 40. That's usually how long these things go. Yes, I agree. For now, none of my routine needs a top change. When I need it, I'll learn it for sure. Your teaching style is subtle. I've taken that for granted. It makes it much easier to follow along. Appreciate that, Mike. Thank you, man. You already said that. Talking about decks, what's your go-to favorite deck besides Bicycle? It's hard to say just because I like always and only use Bicycle cards, you know. Just like for performing and stuff. Like the only time I use my special decks, I'm not much of a deck collector, is just like for lives and videos, really. What's my favorite deck? So I have most of my decks are up on this shelf, and my favorite ones are down here. I mean, I like Madison's decks because they got that double crush stock. They're nice and thin. They work well. But my favorite, I mean, I really love Madison's bangers. So the ones with the hands, the tattooed hands on them. A lot of people have seen them from my videos and asked about them. I do really like these. So these are bicycles, I guess, but they're an odd collab. But I thought they just look cool. I think I don't know. I like the pin-ups on them. I think it's just, I don't know, it's just nice. And it's so these are OVO and Playboy. OVO is like Drake's company, you know. I'm from Toronto, so we all like Drake around here. But I don't know, I thought these were pretty cool. I mean, the back design's pretty neat. It's not my favorite. I think back design, I love the red Remedies, Madison's Remedies. Those I think are just like really clean with the little rose and the feather. Okay, where am I? My siblings won't ever help me that much. Yeah, I kind of had to force them to. I mean, they're good though. They'll always. I'm the oldest, so they kind of have to listen to me, you know. No, I'm kidding, but they're good. They're good. Same, but my niece and nephew will help me for lunch and $10 each. Yeah, sometimes that's what it takes, man. Last jam, you told us about this mind reading stuff that you made, and then like 2 days after, you uploaded a video of it, and my mind got blown away. I don't know which video you're talking about, but I'm glad you were blown away. Yes, lots of cool mind reading stuff. Still going to be a while before any of those projects come out, but working on it. I think I'm going to do a smaller project first, which is a propless date of birth guess that's really, really good that I came up with. So I think that'll be my first propless release. That's aside from the masterclass. I just will say I've been lecturing quite a bit lately for a lot of clubs. So if anyone's at part of a magic club and wants to see my mental minimalism lecture, that is available. We can do that anytime. Just shoot me an email. We can set that up. I'm lecturing. The next one I have on the schedule is in March for IBM Ring 9 in Boston. So if you're part of that, I will be doing a virtual lecture for the IBM Ring 9 in Boston coming up in March. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there if you're part of that IBM Ring. Oh, new release that I was, I guess, affiliated with is David Jonathan, Travel Test. Don't know if you guys have seen the trailer for that. So me and JS helped David get a lot of the live performances. There's a second project I've helped David out with. He's a great guy. I helped him out with Decode as well. Decode is fantastic. And this is good as well. So Travel Test is a one-page book test that packs in this little wallet that comes with it. So there's two things that are kind of the main selling points. One is it being very portable book test, and two is the kicker ending that it has. So you get basically this. Oh, it's stuck in here. I've had it in here for a while. But yeah, if you want to see the trailer, it's available on David's YouTube channel. I'm in there a couple of times. See me doing a live performance of it. And I think I just put out one on the channel too. So you get this magazine page. It's from like a Europe travel magazine. I made it look like it was torn out. It has this little ad on the back. They can think of, any word basically in here. There's a principle involved. So there's something going on, a very common book test principle. And then you can tell them what word they're thinking of. And then after that, there's a kicker ending where depending on the word they choose, it's different every time. So there's a certain amount of words that they can choose from, and you kind of manipulate them very cleverly with the classic book test principle to pick one of those words. And then all of those words have a secret out, either hidden on this gift card or on the page itself, or all kinds of different ways to do. So after you can do the mind reading, you can then say this was a bit of influence because look, this word was actually hidden here the whole time. Or scan this QR code and it takes them to a video, and then it says the word in the video. So it's pretty cool. I think it is a really neat effect, and I had some fun with it. I think, the things you want to keep in mind with something like this is there's two, I don't want to say negatives, but I want to say things to keep in mind with effects like this is you do have to carry this around. And again, they've done a really good job at making this super portable, which is awesome because a lot of book tests aren't. So that is a pro. But you have to decide if it's something that you would carry around. Me, I'm a big minimalist when it comes to performing, and this was really easy for me to add in and carry around. But I don't tend to add a lot of things to what I consistently carry around. So that's something you have to decide. And then just the motivation of this, like what you're going to say to have them pick a word off this random page, right? What's the reason? What's the motivation? That's something you need to definitely consider. And it can be hard to justify random props like this sometimes. But then again, all of the props we use as magicians are kind of random. So you need to really take that into account, I think, when performing this. At least in the environments I perform in. Some people might say, no, you don't really, just go out and do it. No one's going to question it. I was motivating it, saying basically, this is something very random. And in order for me to get a sense of how you think, I like to start with a really random exercise, right? So I just need something that's truly random, both to me and to you. So what I did, I was actually just running out the door to come here to do this gig or to perform. And we have these travel magazines. We're planning a trip to Europe, and I just ripped out a page. I put it in here. I folded it up because I just wanted something that I have no experience with, neither do you, and it's completely random. That way your mind is a blank slate, and I can get my best, and I can really start to learn about how you think and that sort of thing. So that's how I was justifying it. But it's a nice trick. It's really nice. So go check that out for sure. Travel Test, David Jonathan, Nicholas Mavresis. It's a good one. Okay, what do we have in here? When did you figure out that this is what you're going to do in life? Like, know I want to do street magic, but never really consistent with it. That's a great question, man. Well, really, what happened for me is I have been into magic since I was a kid. So, like, 6 years old. Right now I just turned 26 a few months ago, and so I've been doing magic almost 20 years now. I think it's important to contextualize that because it was not like I've been doing it 20 years, every day or anything. When I was I had a mild interest when I was a kid. My parents got me a few magic kits. I got a couple of books. My grandfather was the first one to show me a trick, and that kind of piqued my interest. And then over time, I was a pretty competitive football athlete, so I was, doing a lot of things in the gym, playing football, and so magic came and went. It was always there, but it would come more in waves of like me really sitting down and focusing and practicing, and then eventually I found YouTube, found the world of downloads, and that's what I kind of gravitated towards, and then I learned, and then I realized that I was pretty creative with it, and I started to invent a lot of my own stuff, and then, I didn't, honestly, and one thing I regret and I wish I would have done more is perform in high school, because that would have been a really fun time to be known as, I think, the magician as well. I think that would have been really cool and kind of been a really good developmental thing for me. But I didn't really show it. No one knew I did magic or anything at all. I didn't advertise it. I was just playing football, and that was it. And then university, more so, is when I really decided that I would kind of make it known, I guess, that I do magic. And so I think it was around the time of the pandemic. I had been thinking, like, I have a lot of magic, a lot of original stuff. I want to share it with people. I want to, make a name in the industry a little bit, but I have no idea how to do that. Where do you start? And I was like, well, maybe I could try making YouTube videos, right? Because I watched a lot of YouTube videos. I thought I had a lot to add to the space. I saw a lot of things that I felt like I could help with and improve, and I've always loved to teach. So I was like, okay, let me try it. And then I just, in the pandemic, I started filming my first video, and I was like, you know what? I'm the type of person, I've always been very dedicated. So if I'm going to commit to something, I'm going to commit to it. I'm going to do it. So, I was like, I'm going to post weekly, or I think it was twice a week. Twice a week I used to post for, I think, almost like 2 years or more. I posted twice a week videos. Every 4 days I would post. No consistent schedule. It was just every 4 days. Now it's weekly, which is still a lot more than most people, especially in the magic industry. Besides Magic TV. Can't compete with Magic TV. They got a whole team behind them there. It's just me over here. But once a week, I think, is still pretty impressive how to keep that up. But yeah, I just started building the channel. It got some traction, and then opportunities came from that sort of in the industry, right? I think if you put one thing is dedication, consistency. If you put that in, you're going to get results. I learned that from my training in the gym and that stuff. I've always been a big lifter. Big into the lifting community and that. So I started working out when I was like 10 or 12, and I've been consistent with it forever. I think I learned a lot of discipline from that and from football, and just keeping that up. And then, obviously if you are good at something and you're humble, and I think people see that you have good intentions, then those things will come back around to you. And so I feel like I've just benefited from that. People, I've really helped people, and I've put in so much time and effort for absolutely no gain, right? Free YouTube videos that I get basically nothing from. Well, for the first year and a half, I got literally nothing from. And then eventually, the videos get monetized, but my AdSense, it's very low. It's like $100 Canadian a month on a good month. It's very low. Like, YouTube ads don't pay very much unless you're, getting millions and millions of views. So this isn't a money motivated endeavor. The YouTube side, it's make a name for myself, help people, and then yes, it does help other parts of my business. performing. But the videos are sort of a passion project. So I think at some point I just realized I wanted to do something with magic. The performing side, just kind of came naturally. Starting doing little word of mouth gigs and these sort of things, and then over time, once you develop this social proof, you have an Instagram or a YouTube with some followers, and people start to know who you are. Well, then it really helps you get more gigs and inquiries come in, and I'm in a fortunate position where I can work on the magic side as much or as little as I want. So that I also really like that balance, because I do have a full-time job outside of magic, and that's the way I like it. I think I want to keep it that way for now, at least. I probably could go do magic full-time at some point, or even now if I really went all out, but I really like where things are now, and I think if I want, if I did more with the magic, then you get to a space where you risk burnout, you risk, does it feel too much like work? Will I lose the love, the passion? How do you react when you need to get that gig to pay the bills, to put food on the table, right? Right now it's all just extra, it's bonus, right? I put the food on the table with my engineering career. So I just saw someone said, what is your full-time job? I am a structural engineer. Okay, a lot of stuff coming in. Let me answer some of these. So that was kind of long. Hopefully that kind of answered your question. I think at some point I just decided this would be a great side endeavor. I love magic. I really want to do something with it. That was that. How do you manage gigs, filming, and a day job? You know what, man? It is a crazy amount of work. I am super busy. I do a lot because I run this whole YouTube channel, my entire business, every element of it, from the videos, from the gigging side, to the back end, the customer service, the working on the projects, building the website, the marketing, the accounting. I do all of it. I do everything myself. And so it really is a lot. I definitely take care of myself. I still play flag football now, at least once a week. Obviously I'm working my full-time job. I'm doing these videos. I'm doing private lessons all the time. I'm doing gigs. I'm doing, working on building the business, right? Like, there's a lot of stuff going on. And I think the key to time management, there's a couple. One thing is scheduling. So you need to plan out when you're going to get things done. You need to stick to it. And sticking to it comes back to discipline. I think discipline is the number one thing. You got to keep yourself to that schedule. So I've committed to you guys to bring you a video every Sunday. And I have only missed that deadline in 5 years of doing this channel. And it hasn't always been Sundays. It was twice a week. But I've missed a deadline probably less than I can count on one hand in 5 years. So, and I think that's key. So just how many hours do you sleep? I get a full 8 hours, man. I'm really big on health and wellness too, and so I really value sleep. It's a big thing. Sleep's the most important thing you can do for your body. Sleep and exercise, specifically lifting weights, because of the stimulus that it gives you. It's not the same as running. It's not the same as playing sports. Weight training, there's a lot of evidence on the benefits of specifically weight training. But anyway, we don't want to turn this into a lifting rant. But yeah, I get about 8 hours sleep. Some days 7, but 7 or 8 always. Definitely. I have to. If I let the sleep go, then everything else falls with it, right? So, planning out your days, keeping a good schedule, using a good calendar app or whatever you want to keep things organized, planning out when you get things done, and trying to stay to a consistent schedule. So, for example, my schedule for a week would look something like this. So Monday, I'm going to wake up fairly early, go to work, get back home. Actually, sorry, Monday we work from home. We have the remote. So Mondays, I'll wake up, come into the office, the home office, do work. At lunch, I might answer a few emails, or get back to a few people about questions, lessons, people from YouTube, people have a product, they need an issue, whatever, someone's reaching out for something, whatever, I'll do some emails at lunch or something like that. Eat, obviously. And then, finish out the workday. After that, usually, and again, the consistency is so key, because once you find out a schedule that works for you that you can stick to, then it's just about repeating that every week, right? And putting in the time and the grind. So then, Monday nights I usually schedule 1 or 2 lessons, depending on the demand that week. Monday nights are good nights for me. And then, I'll cook dinner in there, but I usually won't gym. And then Tuesday, it'll basically be the same. We're from home that day, but I will gym that day. Monday I'll cook 2 meals, enough for Monday and Tuesday, right? Wednesday comes along, I'm in the office, come back Wednesday, cook dinner, maybe do 1 lesson, relax a little bit, Thursday comes around, I will hit the gym again after work. Wednesday I cooked enough for Thursday, right? Like, you kind of see the pattern, and then okay, when do the videos start to come in? Well, the videos I've already filmed, because I bank videos, so I film them. I sit down one weekend and I'll knock out like 8 videos, which is enough. If I'm doing once a week, that's enough for about 2 months. And then hopefully this is the kind of answer you wanted. I don't know, maybe this is too much detail, but then so Thursday I might after the gym I might do another lesson if I have one, or I'll open up the laptop and take a look at what's the video coming this week, estimate how long it's going to take me to edit. Maybe I'll start, but oftentimes the weekdays I like to chill when I can. So go to the gym, work out, do a lesson. But other than that, during the week, I like to sit down, watch a bit of TV, watch whatever show, watch a football game, NFL if it's Thursday, whatever it is. Because I think balance is important. Friday comes around, so Friday work, come home, and then Friday I usually grind out some kind of big task. So usually it's editing the Sunday video. So Friday night is when I'll sit down and edit a video if don't have plans to go out, which you got to pick your battles. Like, I do have fun, I go out, I see friends, these things, but spend time with family, but at the same time you got to pick your battles. So I might not do that as much as some people my age who would want to just go out and do these kind of things that aren't contributing to my overall goal, right? So Friday night I'll get that. Saturday is a big grind day. I'll take care of stuff around the house, clean, vacuum, laundry, and then that's when I'll sit down. I'll do a live, I'll do another lesson, I'll work on a project, I'll do some film for the membership, film for the channel, whatever it is. Sunday comes around, same as Saturday. I do what I got to do. I'll take care of other things around the house, go take the car for an oil change, like whatever it is. You just schedule things in, and then it's kind of just rinse and repeat. It's just about finding balance, but hopefully that kind of gives you a sense of how I try to schedule things. It was a promptless word guess that you told us last jam you came up with, similar to Enigma without the phone. Yeah. That is still in the works. Probably going to come out next year. What name guess do you do regularly? Billet Peak. You showed us the app. You just showed us that app with the page number and paragraph check. Was zoned out. Can you kindly repeat it? Is it paid or what and where? It is just a little shortcut that I built for. You have to have an iPhone, just because I have an iPhone and I built it. I built it for my members for the most recent video in my Practical Mental Magic course, David P. Abbott's book test. So I basically took his version of his book test and I modernized it, created this little app basically that will allow you to upload any PDF, and then when you click on the app, it opens up a little input. You input any page, any line, and it'll open up that line and page in your notes, seemingly like a prediction. So I have that little yellow app right there. Can't really see it, but you click on it, you get this menu where it says page.line, and there's a little keypad. So this I would do covertly. If I want page 123, line 9, I go to 123.9. When I tap done, it's so cool. Watch what happens. It's going to open up. Oh, okay, so page 9 must have not, page 123 must have not had a 9th line. So I got a notification saying there is no 9th line, so it's probably like a title page or something. So let's go 125, line 9. So now when I hit done, okay, no line 9 on 125 either. Okay, let's go 125, let's go 126, line 2. So I tap done, and it instantly pulls up a note that says prediction, and then it pulls that line directly from the PDF. So you could now hand someone the real book, as long as the book matches the PDF, say pick any word, any line, go to it, I'm going to make a prediction, da-da-da. They tell you it, you enter the line, you set the phone down, and then you can reveal that you've predicted that. You could do this as memory demonstration, which I think is the best use for it. You could use it as a prediction, which I think is also good. And it works. Any PDF, you can I show you how to upload the PDF and change it if you want to use it with a different book. This is Practical Mental Magic. So it keeps an essence of that same routine. The method is obviously way different. And I explained the method, what the original was earlier on. But it's really awesome. So yeah, you can get that in... join the membership, at least the Mentalist tier. But if you want all my masterclasses and everything, you have to join the Wizard tier. But on the Mentalist tier, you do get the Mentalism course, and that was the last episode. I give out that little shortcut just for free for the members. How do you avoid getting burnt out after a while? Yeah, you know what? I try to keep things fun and different and make sure I get a lot of breaks and do the things that I enjoy outside of this. So I still play football, I still work out, I still see friends, family, I still, make sure I get time to watch a movie, watch a show that I'm interested in, whatever it is. And that way, it's not like it's a sacrifice to do this. I enjoy doing this. And I think it's a privilege in a lot of ways, right? So I definitely don't take that for granted. And I think... just kind of giving yourself an opportunity to still do the things you like and always keep things fresh and new. I always have the next new project to work on, so things feel fresh. I always have things that I want to, build or work on, and so it's always just keeping things fun. What is your favorite mentalism trick of all time? Jeez. I absolutely love my influence force. That would be one of my favorites. That I am teaching on the membership soon for the Wizard members. I love Wikitest. And then just like a one ahead. I love a one ahead. My readings versus predictions routine, which I taught recently on the one ahead masterclass. I think it's the best one ahead trick that you can do. It has it looks, so it doesn't even look like a one ahead because you actually draw a question mark on one billet and an exclamation mark on the other. And this one is for prediction, this one's for mind reading. And then you can, do the one ahead, but it's done on the billets that have the question mark and the exclamation mark on the back from the very start. So there's no way it could be a one ahead because they see you wrote the prediction on the one with the question mark. He's choosing the prediction word. He's choosing the mind reading word. It was written on the one with the exclamation mark, and at the end everything's congruent. So it's just absolutely genius. I was showing that a lot at Blackpool last year, so people love that. I showed that to like Lloyd, Cavan, a bunch of people. And I'm going to Blackpool this year, so it's kind of still a couple of months away, but in February, if you're going to be in Blackpool, I will see you there. Looking forward to it. Okay. So, what is your favorite mentalism trick? What is your favorite full-time job? Sorry, I'm just looking where I am. Okay, I do really ask. Good question. Made Reed go through his entire life. The regrets and the progress. Yeah, man. No, it's a good question. For sure. For sure. How many hours do you sleep? We answered that. Happy if some days I get 5 hours of sleep. My schedule this semester is a pure nightmare. Man, try to prioritize sleep. It's really the number one thing you can do for yourself. Sleep is our fuel, right? It's our recovery. So try to get 7 at least. It'll make a huge difference. Trust me. I wish I had that kind of discipline. Thank you for the insight. Yeah, man. No worries. Discipline is really just mind over matter, right? It's just setting yourself goals. And that's why I work well with goals. So that's why when I schedule my upcoming week, it's very easy to make that feel like, okay, these are a bunch of mini goals I need to accomplish this week. and after if I get them done, I feel good, and it's kind of like I have to do them, right? I don't have a choice. This is what I have to do. So yeah, it's yeah. Sorry, I just got sidetracked for a minute. But it really just takes the discipline, right? And setting those goals is a great way to stay disciplined. You got to set your goals and hit them no matter what. You set this goal, you're going to hit it. The problem is what people will let go. They won't hit one goal. And then if you don't hit one, everything else falls apart, right? So you really got to commit, stick to it. Because you break it once and it's easy to break it again, right? What billet do you use regularly? I actually just use these super cheap ones from Amazon a lot of the time. The only problem is they're kind of see-through if there's too much light on them, so I just have to make sure I keep them covered. They don't handle very well either. Like, it's hard to shuffle off one or do a double. They kind of stick together. They're not the best, but they're really cheap, and I just end up using them a lot. But the best billets I've ever used are the 1914 billets. I don't think they're sold out right now, but they're so good. Oh, I don't have any left, but no, I do have a few, but they're so good. That's unique about the universal symbols from your one ahead masterclass. It makes a question mark like an ancient symbol that sparks attention. Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the reasons I love that routine. The question mark immediately draws attention, right? Okay, I'm going to jump down to the card table in a minute. We've been talking a lot, haven't jumped down to the card table. So if you guys have anything card related you want me to touch on while we're down there, I will. There was one thing about the spread force, so we'll start with that. I trust you on this, and I know, but on Tuesdays I come home at 11 p.m. from universities, and Wednesdays I have to stand up at 5 a.m. again to teach the next course. That's how university scheduled me. Yeah, I get it. Like, sometimes it's not the scheduling's tough, and it's not sometimes things are out of your control. But like, if you get home at 11 and you got to get up at 5 a.m., I get it. By the time you get ready for bed, you take a shower or whatever it is, you might only be getting 5 hours of sleep, and that's fair. What I would suggest in that situation is it's hard to make up sleep. Like, people will say, oh, I didn't sleep well this week, I'm going to sleep 10 hours tonight to make up for the 5 hours. Like, it doesn't really work that way. But what you can do is like, I don't know if you have more time on Wednesday. Maybe if you're starting at 5 a.m., if you're done a little earlier, then you can come back and take a nap, because a nap will allow you to make up those hours and give your body the rest that it needs. It's not as good because you're not going to hit the REM cycles and the deep sleep that you'd get from like one consistent shot, but it's better than nothing. And if you're doing it once a week, you know what I mean? You gotta kind of... Sorry, I read a comment and got distracted again. If you're only doing it once a week, it won't be the worst thing for sure. Like, just try to get good sleep on the nights surrounding that. What billet peak do you do regularly? Okay, I'll talk about that when we go down to the card table. I would say I do use Acidus Novus a lot, but these days I've been using my lever peak a lot more. So I'll show you the lever peak when we go down to the table. When I do the clip shift, I can't manage to align the card with the deck. Let me jump down now, actually. Okay. Card table cam. Boom. Look at those transitions. There we go. And I got the headshot in here now. I kind of like it. Except you're going to just see me doing this a lot, because this is where my monitor is to see the card table. So, okay. I make a 2-hour nap in my lunch break on Wednesday. There you go, man. Yeah, that's the best you can do. You work with what you have, right? Okay. Why can't anyone download that shortcut? I mean, if you're a member, yeah, it's in the video. You have to have an iPhone, though. So, okay. So let's start with let's start with the billet peak, and then I'll come to the spread force. So, my billet peak of choice would be the lever peak. So this is a peak of mine. So basically, whatever your justification is, you're going to have them. So what I'll do a lot is I'll start with everything away, and I'll say, hey, I want you to think of a name for me, make this someone important to you, blah, 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 a little bit of presentation and all that. And then I'll say, I forgot you guys can see me over here, so I'll look at you. Then I will say, okay, now, and again, this is how it looks, right? There's no billets, there's no pen in my hand. It's like, okay, you have this name. Then I'll do a bit of cold reading, right? I'll say, look, you don't have to confirm or deny anything I'm going to say. I'm just going to tell you what I'm picking up on. Now I'll hit some cold reading if you want to learn about how I structure my cold reading and some stock cold reading lines that you can use in basically any situation. I did just put out a video on cold reading for free, but the best place is my propless billet work lecture, which is available on the Wizard membership. But basically, you know, I'd say some things about the length of the line. I try to give some cold reading about who the person is, maybe take a guess if they're male or female. And then I'll say, you know what, I think you're more of a visual learner. That's really not coming through so clearly. I just need you to write this down somewhere so you can really lock in that word into your mind. Here, where is it? And I'll kind of tap around. I'll say, well, where is it? Oh, here it is. And I'll, you know, grab the billet out of my pocket or whatever, and I'll say, okay, here. So write down that name. So they write the name. This is towards them, right? They're going to hold it. I'll say, okay, now focus on that. Really visualize it. Da-da-da. You know, stare at it, all that stuff. Lock it in. Once they've locked it in, then I'll say, okay, you know what? Just set it down here for a moment, and I'll shuffle it in. And I'll say, look, just to show you it's not on the bottom, it's not on top. And then I can set that back in their hands, and I got my peak. So what's happening there? And then just to finish it out, then I'll say, you know, hold on to this, hold on to that. Imagine this is sort of something connected to that person, right? You have their name written on here, so you should be able to use that sort of feeling of the billets, and this is their hands now holding on to it. You should be able to use that feeling to really sort of, you know, feel that person's aura here and really focus on them. So keep that in between your hands and imagine them. And then I'll reveal it. So the peak is the lever peak. So how it works is you have them set the billet on top. You're going to use your thumb. Instead of coming around, most people you'd shuffle like this, right? So the billet is on top. So most people would shuffle like this. That's not what you want to do. You want to use your thumb, come underneath, and kick the cards up this way. So you're essentially reversing the deck, and then you come in for a shuffle. So now that billet is getting moved to the bottom. And now you're going to do a milk shuffle. So you're just going to pinch the top and the bottom and keep them there. So you're just keeping the card on the bottom. So I'm just shuffling, and you can see I'm just keeping that card on the bottom, right? It's staying on the bottom. Then I come in a biddle grip, and I say, look, the card's not on the bottom. I usually say, look, just to show you, right? So I say, look, just to show you the card's not on the bottom, and it's not on top. And this is when I'm getting my peak. Now, again, these are there's not many, so it's a little hard because this is so thin. But it's not on the bottom, it's not on top. And this is where I'm getting my peak, right? This is how it looks. So it's not on the bottom, it's not on top. And right here, I have my peak. One more time, it's not on the bottom, and essentially I'm just pivoting this and then lifting up with the thumb and separating this card. So I say it's not on the bottom, it's not on top, and this is what they see, and I'm now looking down, and I can see that name clearly. I'm just looking down right into here. I have a great view, but at speed, it's not on the bottom, it's not on top, but here, just set that in your hand, and that's all I need for the peak, right? So that's one of my favorites these days, or Acidus Novus I use a lot as well. Okay, so you said when I do clip shift, I can't manage to align the cards with the deck. So I don't really do clip shift at all, to be honest. I've never really practiced it. I kind of know the mechanics, so I can't really help you on that. But I know the key with the alignment is to use this knuckle here to kind of align everything. Yeah, I don't know. I never really practiced it, so I don't have a good answer for you. Ugh, that one wasn't terrible. Like, it was slow, but yeah, I'm sure if I worked on it more, I could probably get it, but I really never practiced it. Okay, the spread force. So quickly, you wanted a quick tutorial on the spread force. So essentially, you are going to, I usually start with the force card on the bottom, but you could start with it on the top and spread on top of it, or you could start with it like as in the fourth position and then just cull it. But essentially, you need that card culled. So let's say it's the 4 of clubs. So I'll start with it on the bottom, and I'll basically do this. But from the top, it just looks like this, right? And I get it underneath. So again, from this angle, I'm just coming here, and I steal it out. Now, I say touch one. You say take out your finger, just touch one. Whatever they touch, you want to pick up on it. So let's say they touch this one, you're going to lift up, pinching that card underneath, so you're holding everything together. Then you're going to say this one right here, and you're going to brush it a couple of times with your thumb. This one here. When they say yes, you now line this up with the top edge, and you put your thumb on it. Because if you just try to push this card over, everything's going to fall. So you need to get some leverage so that you're able to push that card over. So when I cull, and I now lift up on the selection, the leverage is going to come from placing this here and just resting my thumb on top. Once I do that, the thumb is just kind of resting on top of this card. Well, now I can push this without everything falling because I have leverage with this thumb. So I say this one right here, they say yes, and I just set it here. I make this nice V. I put the thumb down on this, and now I just push over, and this is just gonna smack this edge of the packet here. Boom, and it just lines up perfectly, and I just turn up and show them that card, right? So at a bit of speed. Okay, I want you to reach in, you can touch any card that you want. This one right here. Okay, remember that card, great, and now they can shuffle, and it's just so fair, right? So 3 of diamonds in this case. Okay, reach in, touch one. This one? No, you want to change your mind? Okay, actually you want to go back, so then we could go back. You can say, oh, this one, no, one more, this one right here. Okay, you happy with that? No, one more. Okay, this one right here. Okay, remember that card? 3 of diamonds, boom, right? So just the best force you can do, I think. I do peaks with sticky notes, but when I do Asses Novus, people know what I do. They see it, I look at my hands, and I guess I just got it like Asses Novus. You need to justify it better, probably. So you can't just, you know, go for the peak and just like stand here like this or something, and your head obviously would be like looking down at it, right? So you need to say, you know, what I usually say is, okay, here, fold that up. They fold it up, and I say, let me see it for a second. I'll turn my head away. Now I'm in position to get the peak. I won't expose it, but if you know it, you know what's going on here. Now when I come back, I say, here, you know what, just sign, can you initial this for me? So now they're initialing this, right? And while they're initialing it, it makes sense that I'm going to kind of watch them initial it. So now I have a perfect justification to get my peak in that moment and look at where I need to look. Mike says, can you show how to find the 4 aces with the cut deeper force? The only way I can do it is with 4 rounds of the cut deeper. All aces will be the first face down. Any suggestions? Shout out from the Philippines. What's up, man? Okay, 4 aces. Let's think about this. So, obviously, as Mike mentioned, I think there's 2 logical ways that this comes to mind. Option 1 is what Mike suggested. You do it 4 times in a row. So, cut once, cut deeper, take the first face down card, then you need to do that. Then you can go cut once, cut deeper, take the first face down card, right? And you could do this and repeat it. What I think instantly, the other, I think, easy solution, which instantly pops out to me, is just do it 1 time, but take 4 cards. Because while doing the cut deeper force 4 times is probably too long and gets a little weird, if you, I'm just going to punch out a little bit. Okay, if you do it once, and then do it twice, and then just say, here, let's just take the first 4 cards you cut to. I think that's better, probably, right? As a way to get the aces. What also comes to my mind, and I'd have to work this out, there's 2 other ideas. So one would be doing it twice, but doing the combination force that I've taught. So it would be like this. Okay, call stop. This one right here. Okay, we'll take that card exactly, hold on. How do I want to do this? No, let me switch. Okay, so it'd be like this. All right, call stop right here. Okay, now you could have had any one of these cards, but we'll stop at the first face down card. Now cut a little bit deeper, and again, we'll take out the next first face down card. Okay, and now we'll do that 1 more time. So again, call stop right here. Okay, perfect. I'll turn that over and just take out the first face down card. And now again, turn it, cut deeper, take out the next face down card. And that is 4 aces. Right, so this is combining the riffle force with the cut deeper and doing it twice, so you get down the amount of times you do it. So that's the first idea that comes to mind. So what I'm doing there is I slip cut one of the aces just on an off moment, and now I do a riffle force. They say stop, and this is just a force. So the ace is here, but then I'm going to turn over to naturally motivate the next stage of the cut deeper force. So I say, look, you could have cut anywhere you'd like, and here you're going to have the aces, so you got to do a block push off, right? So you kind of come here and then you just push off and kind of conceal those aces. Again, as long as you don't say, oh, I'm going to make you cut the 4 aces, they won't even really pay attention. So I'm just going to kind of hide them quickly like that. I say, okay, we'll take that first face down one that you cut to. Now you just put it back and you say, okay, do it one more time, cut a bit deeper this time, and now it's just a regular cut deeper force. So that's your first 2 aces. Now the other 2 aces are here, so this just now needs to go underneath. Then you're going to say, okay, you're going to slip cut another ace. You're going to say call stop, riffle force, turn it over, spread. Okay, here, take the first face down card you cut to, and now turn over one more time a little bit deeper, and the first face down card you cut to, and that's 4 aces, right? So that's one option. And then the last thing, and I don't know how well this would work, so I need to think it through for a moment. Let's see if this works. So if I say cut once, spread, take out the first face down card. Okay, this could work, I think. Let's see. Okay. This is more of an effect, but what do you think about this? Okay, so I'm set up now. I say watch. I just want you to cut wherever you want. So they could cut here, they could cut here. It's literally a free choice. And turn over and mark that exact position you cut to. Now let's go through and we're going to take out the first few cards, and we're going to take out, sorry, the first card that you cut to. Now this card is going to be like a magic card. It's going to cause the other cards, the other 3 cards that match it, to flip over in the deck. Watch. And just like that, 3 cards turn over, and they are the 3 aces. And there you found the 4 aces. So this is another idea that I put out probably a year or 2 ago on the channel, of a variation to the cut deeper force, where you only had to cut once. So just to show you it without the aces, well, let's say the ace of spades is my force card. So I put 4 face-up cards and then the force card on top, and that goes on top of the deck. So the only thing you have to do is conceal that. So you can do a little spread, show all the cards are normal, and then you say, okay, cut wherever you'd like. And now they just have to cut once and turn it over. And now when you spread, you just take out the first face down card, and that's going to be the force card was in the wrong spot. My apologies. Force card goes first, then you go 3 face up, and then you do a random cover card. The force card is not the cover card. Apologies. So that goes on top. Now they just, again, you just need to keep this hidden. So you can spread like this. You say here, just cut wherever you want. And now we're going to flip it over to mark that position. And now we'll just take that first face down card that you cut to, and they can take it, and it'll be the ace. Now the only thing you have to be careful of is there is going to be one other face down card, which is going to be that cover card that's now reversed. So you can either cut that to the bottom and clean it up, or I would make that cover card the matching ace, and now you can do a routine with it. So we go ace, 1, 2, 3, cover card, the matching ace. That all goes on top. Now I say, look, I want you to cut wherever you'd like, turn it over. Let's take the first face down card that you cut to, boom. Now wave this over the deck, and you'll see one card reverses itself. So now the discrepancy is actually part of the trick. Now let's see what card you cut to, and you have a perfect pair style routine, right? So I just basically took that idea and adapted it for 3 aces. So now you're going to take 3 aces, 1 ace, you're going to put face up, 3 face up cards, and then the 3 aces are going to now go as cover. So now you have a bit more cover here. You can show it, and now you say, okay, just cut wherever you'd like. We'll mark that position. We'll go to the first face down card. So this is going to be the force ace, and you have still a bit of cover. But if we go further, there'll be these other 3 aces. So you just spread a little bit. They take out that. You turn this, and you say, now, this is going to call, magically, this is our magic card. It's going to call the other cards, the other 3 cards, to make a perfect 4 of a kind. Watch. Wave it over top, spread, and just like that, 3 aces have turned face up. Well, this is only a good trick if you picked out of any card the 4th ace. And there you go. So those are some ideas that come to mind for me. That's what I might think about there. That is great. Thank you, my man. Okay. What else? What else? What else? I have a 4-ace routine to give you some input. Lift shuffle, false cut, slip force, cut deeper force, wrong card, second deal. Okay, let me try to see if I can work that out. Okay, so aces on top, I assume. Lift shuffle. Okay, lift shuffle. False cut. Slip force. Boom. Cut deeper force. Boom. Boom. Okay. Wrong card plus second deal. Don't know what that means. Second deal. Okay, so second deal. So wrong card. So maybe you say like, oh, touch one. And they go like this. And you say, was that it? And you say, no. And then you maybe top change. Oh. I think I know what you mean. So you're basically this, but you're not doing a top change. Right? So you're saying, boom. Oh, that's not it. Put it down. And then you second deal. And now you switch it. I don't know how you're getting the 4th ace, though. Unless I missed it. Unless you're doing the top 3 aces, wrong card ace. Not sure what you quite mean by that. Every technique finds 1 ace. Well, I only see 3 techniques. I see slip force, cut deeper force, and then the wrong card plus the second deal. Unless you're saying you do... where's that other ace? Unless you're saying that you do... Okay, pick one, wrong card, second deal, and then now you go into second deals and you say stop. And then when they say stop, you produce another ace, maybe? Lift shuffle is ace number 1. Oh, so you're producing an ace during the lift shuffle. Got it. So are you're just doing like, okay, let me shuffle, da-da-da, boom. Or are you doing, I did teach a lift shuffle force in my lift shuffle video, right? Where you can do like a timing force. So if I have an ace on top, I'll leave it face up. I pick it up with the lift, and I just say, here, call stop whenever you want. Stop. And you release the lift packet where they say stop, right? So as a force, it looks really good because you can go, okay, say stop, stop, okay, boom. And that's, oh, must have lost it there, hold on. Okay, so I'm going to force the ace of spades. Let's see here, I'll give the cards shuffle, call stop, stop, right there. And that one I know I missed. Sometimes I dropped the top card again. Let me do it, okay. Say stop anytime you'd like. Hold on. My routine is based on starting. So is it the lift force that you're using, or just you're doing a lift shuffle and then finding it? So, boom, boom, call stop right there. It'd be something like that. Oh, that was pretty bad, so I want to try one more time. Okay, call stop, stop, boom. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that's nice. That's a nice little routine. That's awesome. Thank you. This leads to 3 face up on the table plus 1 face down, which is assumed to be wrong. Yeah. Will you make another video on how to make a routine? Well, I've done 3 videos in my repertoire series about routines that you can do, and I've kind of give some insight into how I've come up with those routines. So my repertoire series is a good place to start for learning routines, and then also I have a how to make your magic better video on routines as well. Riffle, add something to it. That did not occur to me. Yes, Mike, that's a good one. Thank you. Okay. No, just lift shuffle showing that I can find the aces, and for the last try integrate them showing the magic they can find. Okay, nice. So what I usually do, my ace cutting routine that I often do, looks like this. So I'll have them shuffle the cards. So I'll give this a genuine shuffle. And then while they're shuffling, I'll say, name a 4 of a kind. So they'll name a 4 of a kind. And then I'll say, Okay, now look, I just want to show you. So let's say they say the eights. I don't know. Okay, so the eights. So I say, look, I just want to show you that all of these cards are mixed. You can see completely shuffled, red, black. And I just want you to know this because this is very important that you know this mix and you understand the mix that you made, right? All a complete mess. Now, what was the four of a kind you said again? They'll say the eights. And you say, okay, watch. So the eights. Here we go. There's 8 number 1. Right? You say, watch. Okay, let's see. I should, if I can just give this shuffle, should be able to find, I should be able to cut right to it. Let's see. How did I do? 8 number 2. All right, now, why don't, okay, just name a small number between 1 and, I don't know, any small number, doesn't matter. So let's say they say 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And you can say, let's see again, how did you do? There's the next 8. And finally, what do I do for the last one? Oh yeah. This is a routine I used to do a lot. And then, okay, watch. Now if I can just find it right about there. Here we go. Pop out the 8, just like that. So that's the routine I do a lot for the 4 aces, or 4 of a kind. That little quick production. I love the pop-out move. Especially when it turns face down. Like that. I've taught that, I think, on the channel somewhere. Not sure. One thing, so I think I've answered most of the questions. I'm going to jump back up for a moment. There is one thing, oh, wrong button. There is one thing that I wanted to talk about quickly, and we'll probably wrap up in a little bit unless people have more questions, but I don't see any more coming through. I want to talk about the O's Pearlman thing. You know, I made a video a couple months ago about O's on Joe Rogan and how he, you know, I love what he's doing. He's incredible. I just something didn't sit right with me. 2 things from that interview. One, he really made it feel like magicians are below mentalists. Like there's this huge distinction, and, you know, what he does is so much harder. And you know, in a lot of ways, magic is harder than mentalism. In a lot of ways, mentalism is harder than magic. It just depends. You know, the performing side's harder with mentalism, the audience management. The magic side is, you know, obviously more sleight of hand intensive. But he just was more saying like, oh, that's magic tricks. What I do is something totally different. Which, I mean, he's using all the same methods that we all use, right? But it just sat a little off with me how he I mean, I get it. That's kind of his character, so he's just kind of doing his thing. But I just don't like the way he talks down on magicians. The other thing was Joe seemed to be taking a real interest in, you know, how do I learn this? You know, the whole psychology, all that. And the thing is, O's like puts so much into his character of this is reading people, not reading the mind, which is all pseudo explanations. So Joe's taking a huge interest in that, and it kind of just sits a little off with me because he's like explaining it, but it's like, you know, he's clearly lying to magicians, which is fine because we all lie, but then Joe's taking a genuine interest, so it's like you're misleading someone who really just wants to understand and learn, and now you're giving them this incorrect worldview of what's possible. So that part sits wrong with me, but I also don't know fully what he should have said otherwise, you know. Now, I've talked about that. All my thoughts about it are in that video. But the situation I want to talk about is this guy, I'm sure a lot of you have seen him, who's just exposing everything O's is doing. I won't say who it is or how to find it, but it's not hard to find on YouTube. He's got 3 or 4 videos he's put out. He's just some random guy, as far as I can tell, putting out videos on basically every performance O's has on the internet, just breaking down exactly how it's done. Now, first thing I want to get out of the way is this guy obviously is some kind of mentalist or magician, or had some interest in it. because he hasn't. Actually, I maybe want to take that back. He knows too much to not have been into magic at some point, but he also like says things that are odd that you wouldn't say if you were in it. So I kind of flip back and forth. I think it's possible he was interested at some point and then kind of knew where to look, and so he was able to find some of this info. Because like he was showing like the Pitata inversion board trailer in his video. It's like, and you would not know, if you're a regular person, you would have no idea how to find like an impression pad. You didn't even know that there's trailers for that it exists, that you could buy it. You know, so like, okay, maybe he's like using ChatGPT and did a bunch of research that way, maybe, and it's like feeding him that. You know, I would have said, okay, definitely he is like a mentalist or magician or had an interest in just whatever he wanted to decide to do this. But he clearly doesn't understand how the magic community operates. So that's why I think maybe he was at some point, but is like far removed from that. So he kind of had like a knowledge of like where to look. Like, oh, I can go to Vanishing Ink and find this trailer to put in my video, you know? Or maybe just use ChatGPT and he is genuinely just someone who's just like putting all this time into figuring out this stuff. And maybe I've misjudged that how much you can find with AI. It's not that AI can't find it or you couldn't find it. It's just you don't know what to look for, right? You literally don't know what to type in. But maybe now AI gets around that problem for people who are, because you can just kind of vaguely explain what you want, right? Anyway, so he does these videos, and the other thing is he talks like he's referring to peaks, but he keeps calling them glimpses. And like no one who's a mentalist would call a peak a glimpse, really. And so there's like these weird things that he says where it's like, okay, maybe he doesn't really know that much. But he's revealing everything. He's talking about pre-show, impression pads, even thumb tips, thumb writers, absolutely everything that Oz does. Pre-show, one ahead, like he's figured it all out. And I mean, he's right for the most part. You know, there's obviously some things he's wrong about, but I don't know. I really don't like it, obviously. And he's very arrogant in saying like, oh, if you don't like this, then stop being a con artist, or like I people are messing with my worldview. He seems like a bit of a nutcase. He's like, oh, this is spiritual. This is messing with people's spiritual belief of the world and all this nonsense. And it's like, okay, calm down, buddy. But I don't know. I mean, I don't love it because his videos are getting thousands and thousands of views. Like, you know, obviously Oz is the hot thing right now, so people want to know how it's done. People are searching it. The videos are kind of going viral, and it is kind of exposing a lot. Do I think it's a problem for magic and mentalism? No. He obviously just doesn't understand, you know, the concepts of mentalism, of, you know, like there is I get the stance of like, he's calling Oz a con man, which again, he's really teetering that gray area. But, you know, for someone like me, I think I balance it a little bit better. So I just don't think he understands the dynamic. It is unfortunate, though, that these videos are getting so many views and the way he's going about, you know, exposing it. But again, he is within his right. I mean, if he is like a mentalist of some kind, then he's obviously doing something very uncool. But it's not illegal or anything. And if he's a regular person and he's managed to use AI or whatever to do all this research, then, you know, he's got way too much time on his hands. But regardless, you know, I think it is a little bit unfortunate, but I don't think it's the end of the world. You know, people are going to watch it. They're not going to... they're not going to figure it out. They're not going to know. You know, when you're performing in real life, they're people just they won't tie in this 3-hour video if they even watch it all, because one of them is like 3 hours. They won't tie it into what you're doing in real time in real life if you just have solid methods. So I wouldn't really worry about it too much. You know what I mean? There is a whole other situation. I don't know if I'm going to talk about it today. I don't see any more questions coming in, so I'll probably wrap it up in a minute, unless you guys have any last things. But there is another thing I wanted to kind of talk about. About, and let me see if I can find that. You know what? I'll leave the other thing. The other thing is this whole. You know what? I'm not going to talk about that right now. It's another drama situation. I just want to see if I can find that Jerks study for you guys. I think this is it. Okay, let me share my Safari. So we were talking about this earlier when the Jerks did a study on different forces and how spectators interpret them. All right, so there's classic force, crosscut, dribble, riffle, second deal, under the spread. So that's the one I do the most. Under the spread. Second deal I think is fantastic. Riffle force is great. Dribble force is good. I just don't use it a lot. Crosscut is great. Don't ever use the classic pass. I don't ever. So the deck was shuffled and each procedure was demonstrated for the participant without the covert action involved that would force the card. So they mimic these without forcing the card, so that they were given a free choice that would mimic the action of the force. Then after each one they asked how free and fair it feels on a scale of 1 to 100. So these are the ratings. So the crosscut force was number 1 with 86. Then the second deal force, totally agree. Under the spread, absolutely. Dribble force, I totally see why this, and this are low. These three feel very restricted, right? Where you have the classic, I don't think the classic force feels as restricted, but it's like what I was saying earlier. If you go and give this deck to a deck of cards and you say magicians do this thing where they I'm looking at the wrong camera. Magicians do this thing where they force a card. How would you do it? And you hand it to them. They're going to say, oh, you'd probably spread it. Maybe you'd stick one out and you try to like put it in your hands, which is essentially what the classic force is. So classic force is low. Riffle force and dribble force is just the nature of everything feeling restricted just by, you know, keeping everything together or doing this. It feels a lot more in control. I can see why there's a huge jump between the other three, because the under the spread, it's almost exactly like the classic force, but there's not the this action of the classic force. They can take their time with the selection. So I mean, my favorite's the under the spread in terms of a practical force. Second deal force I definitely see as more fair though than the under the spread, because it's literally like one card at a time. You call stop whenever you want. Do you want this one? No, you want to keep going, and you can just keep going. So I use the second deal force a ton. I don't use the crosscut force as much, but it is one of my absolute favorites because, again, it can be done in their hands so free. There's seemingly no way that they could do it, right? So yes, the Jerks, his feelings on this are the speed. So the moment of choice is over very quickly in these ones, whereas this one they have a lot more time to make the decision. Agreed. Layman's understanding of forcing. Yes, this is what I'm talking about. So yeah, when you do the classic force, you're literally mimicking the only process many people would associate with card forcing. Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, everyone says classic force is the best, and I did as well, yeah, but obviously it's not the case. Crosscut force. So they said the reason they felt it was the most fair is because they were holding the deck and it was just cutting to a card. So there's no way that they could feel like it was manipulated, right? So really interesting little read, that article. It's the Forces Unleashed is the name of it. If you just search Forces Unleashed by the Jerks, you'll be able to read up all of that if you're interested. It's really interesting. Can you share the link? Sure, I should be able to. Let's see. Boom. There you go. It's a very interesting read. Okay, a couple of last things. I think Oz is pushing hard to become the next big thing by doing Rogan. He's opening himself to exposure by people like this. For sure, the bigger you get, the more enemies you have, or the more chance you have to being exposed or whatever. For sure. I think he's already the big thing, though. I don't think he's trying to be the next big thing, because he is, he's huge already, right? Man's got millions and millions of followers. Like, he's doing, some of the biggest events and gigs. So he's all set. I mean, he doesn't need to worry. I personally don't think he needs to address any of this. Just keep pushing, doing his thing. There's a lot of people who, no matter what, they'll just die hard, always believe what he says. And that's great, right? It's part of the character. It's just, I don't think you should be talking down on other magicians. Just again, like, there are things as a magician that you don't have to do, but there's kind of like either unwritten rules or like things that's being respectful, right? Any community, there's respectful things to do. As a magician, one of the things to not do is reveal other people's tricks, right? It's not illegal. I could do it. There's no reason not, but I'm not going to, because I understand I wouldn't want someone to do that to me. The ethics, that sort of thing. I have a little bit of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Empathy, right? I wouldn't want someone to do it to me. So that kind of pushes me to think this guy's probably actually not a magician. It's just I'm shocked at the amount of information that he's able to know and find, because that's why I feel like he either must have had an interest before so he knew where to look, or just genuinely like has used AI very well to source that, because I don't think he'd be able to find that on his own. Maybe I'm wrong. To me, Oz is to TV what Peter Turner is to the internet. Pete talks more than Oz. I wonder what you mean by that. I mean, Oz is huge on the internet right now, but I can see the distinction. He does more TV. Is it like you're saying, like this kind of otherworldly being, like this sort of mystical, sort of magicians view Pete as like the the god of mentalism or whatever? I could see that if that's what you're getting at. I think I just don't see shows of Darren Brown, Louis Laval, Peter Turner doing talk shows in England. Yeah. I mean, they're not interested in being in that space anymore. I mean, Darren is just live shows, right? He's done that already. Louis Laval and Peter, I mean, they do their own gigs, consulting and creating, right? They're not in the same sphere, I think. Oz is just focusing on himself as a performer right now. So, but yeah, it is different. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird situation. Okay, guys. Well, I think I'll wrap it up there. That was another awesome live. A lot of talking in this one. A lot of really interesting conversations. So this was a lot of fun. I hope you guys loved it as much as I did. And thank you so much for joining. New video tomorrow, 11 a.m. Fun little card trick. I got to go film that right now. I'm going to go edit it, I mean. And yeah, if you guys are interested in a private lesson, you want some one-on-one help, Tarek man, send me an email. Let's set up a lesson. Happy to help you, and we'll get to it. My membership also, links in the description if you want to become a channel member, get some of the best mentalism, all that stuff. And I do have some projects on sale on my website right now if you guys are interested. So a couple of quick plugs, but thank you all. I see the messages coming through. Renee, all you guys, thank you so much for being a part of the live. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a great rest of your week. I'll see you tomorrow in a new video, and then I'll see you in a couple of weeks for another live. So stay tuned for that. All the best, guys. Happy holidays coming up soon, and I'll see you in a few. All right. Have a good one, guys. Have a good weekend. Great week. Catch you later.